integration to example 5. Now in this example we've got a definite integral, so we need to, as it says here at the top, we need to also change the limits so that they're in terms of the new variable. Now again, I've noticed here that there's a d theta missing, so make sure you insert that in. That's really important obviously on these questions. So the question's in terms of theta, so I'm going to change the limits now before I forget. So theta is pi over 2 is the top limit, and theta equals 0 is the bottom limit. So u will work out to be 1 plus cos pi over 2. Cos pi over 2 is cos 90, that's 0, so that just works out to be 1. And then we have 1 plus cos of 0 for the bottom limit. Cos 0 is 1, so 1 add 1, 2. Notice how when we do the integral, once we've done the substitution, the lower limit is at the top and the small limit is at the top and the bigger limit is at the bottom. That does happen sometimes, and I'll show you a little trick to deal with that. So let's have a look at what we've got. Du by d theta, differentiating the substitution, differentiate cos, you get minus sine. And so du is minus sine theta d theta. Now looking at the question, I can see we've got sine 2 theta on the top line. Now we should remember from C3 that sine 2 theta is the same as 2 sine theta cos theta, which I think will come in helpful here. So let's rewrite the question. We're going to have 2 sine theta cos theta on the numerator, 1 plus cos theta on the denominator. So this is just rewriting the original question. Okay, so that's what we started with. Let's substitute some things in. So pi over 2 we replace by 1, 0 we replace by 2. Make sure you put them in the same positions. And then let's see what else we've got. So here we've got du is sine theta d theta. Obviously there's a minus there. So sine theta d theta, those two pieces together can be replaced by du. But obviously we've got an incorrect sign, so what I'll do is I'll put a minus at the front here to take account of the fact that it's positive in the question, but our derivative worked out to be negative. Let's have a look at the other things that we've got. We have a cos theta here. Well, cos theta can be written as u minus 1 by rearranging the question, the substitution, and then on the bottom 1 plus cos theta, well that's just u. So that's the integral that we're left with, much simpler than what we started off with. Now, you should remember, hopefully from C2, that to carry out integrals like this, you divide both terms by u, so u divided by u is 1, and then 1 over u is obviously just 1 over u. Now this is a little trick that you might want to employ. You don't have to if you don't want to. When you sub in the limits, once you've integrated, you would put in 1 first and then you'd put in 2, and you'd do whatever the answer was for 1 minus whatever the answer is for 2. Because we've got a minus at the front, what we can actually do is swap those over, and that'll swap the order in which we subtract them, and that'll make those two quantities the same. So if you have a minus at the front, you can get rid of the minus and just swap the limits over, and that very often happens when you come across these questions in C4. It makes it a little bit easier to work with. So we'll do the integration. It's definite integral u minus log u between 2 and 1. So that becomes 2 minus log 2, subtract 1 minus log 1. Well, 2 take 1 is 1, log of 1 is 0, so I think the answer just works out to be 1 minus log 2. So remember that trick. If you have a minus, because it swaps the order in which you subtract your two quantities here, you can swap the limits over and get rid of the minus sign.